Hello guys, what's happening? It's Theo here, and it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while since I've done a podcast. And today I want to, so I'm very excited. I was like, oh yes, finally, I'm getting back into it. I'm doing another one. And today I want to start off with kind of like a recap with things I've spoke about, things I've done, and kind of like update of what's kind of been going on with like the whole conquering dyslexia, or the things that are the things that I've been doing, or the things that like some things I've learned recently. So because guys, I spent last week, I invested in doing a big dyslexia course, what they call a Davis method. Now, the Davis method, I want to talk about it here for a bit. And basically, I went through the whole training of it on how to kind of teach it and give it. And this is the first step of the training. It's called the Gift of Dyslexia Workshop. And he went through that. That was amazing. And now, actually, I'm going through the actual teaching of it. So basically, after the course, I phoned up the guy who ran the course, and amazing people, amazing courses, unbelievable. I was just talking to him about the next steps, and he basically put me in contact with someone else who's at the end of their training, who's actually giving me kind of the method, in a sense. Over here, if I was to turn my camera, there's like an alphabet, and I made loads of letters with clay, and stuff. Anyway, so I'm going through that. Anyway, I want to talk about that. And anyway, guys, hope you're doing all right and not too bad, and didn't miss me too much. Anyway, enjoy today's episode, all about this incredible method, about education, about just doing well.
So the big question is this: how can dyslexics like us create a place, a community, a tribe, where people at any stage of life can come and solve any challenge, amplify their strengths, and ultimately help them become who they were meant to be? Or in other words, conquer their dyslexia. That is the question, and this show is the answer. My name's Theo Goff, and welcome to the Conquering Dyslexia podcast.
So guys, let's start this podcast episode. Now, firstly, I want to start off by wanting to say that I have been doing a lot of podcasts, and it's been negative for me as well. I know I say I want to do these podcasts, but I haven't. And one of the reasons I haven't been doing, I've been it's time, but time's not an excuse. You just have to manage it in the appropriate way. So I haven't been managing my time very well, and also I've had a challenge. I lost one of these earphones that I use for audio, and I really want to get good audio. And sometimes having bad audio, I don't like not having good audio, because it's not adding good value, or not really pleasant for you, the listener. And so that's one thing. Anyway, but one thing I'm thinking about is just do these things daily. Do these things often, and just update about how the dyslexic mind copes, and what does it mean to really conquer your dyslexia, and how does it go back day to day, in a sense, documenting the journey. Because knowing the years from now, conquering dyslexia would be a thing that will grow really, really large and kind of have a big reach. But I'm really excited to sort of have the groundwork, the sort of the very early beginnings. And so this is it. This is the very early beginnings, and I've been taking this training for this Davis method. And a little bit of backstory with that is that they have a book called The Gift of Dyslexia, one of the very first dyslexia books that I ever got. My mum kind of handed it to me when I wanted to learn more about my dyslexia. And I remember started to read it, and one thing they said about words, about words that sight words, where one thing with dyslexia is that we skip over words, the words and, in, on, and other words that's hard to create a picture of. When dyslexics think of it, we have a blank, and then we skip over. and it causes us confusion. And anyway, today's not about like talking in depth about the method. I'm going to do that really soon. But anyway, I remember like learning it and like making so much sense to me, and then running to my mum, speaking to my mum about it. I was like, this makes so much sense. And same doing this course, calling her up, saying, oh, this makes so much sense. This is just exactly like how it is. Because also one thing like I've learned from doing this course is that like I'm dyslexic, and obviously I'm very dyslexic, but going through it, it's like, oh my god, like that's why it's a click. It's like the explanation of it got to do with taking pictures, dorsal orientation, and so many things that aren't traditional education, like with phonics, with this, with that. It's not traditional, and it is a little bit out there, but when you understand the sort of like the theory behind it, it makes so much sense as dyslexic. As neurotypical, it may not make much sense, and I don't blame it. But as a dyslexic, it's like, that's why it's hard. That's why it's challenging. And I am so excited because I'm seeing some massive correlations with this method than with the other method, that the universal reading method, that transformed my reading. And it's really, really, really cool. And what I'm really invested in now is to get educated. Like, Davis method, something I want to try for ages. I'm finally doing that and investing in that. And there's all these other dyslexic methods, all these other teachings from all around the world that I want to get deep into and have deep knowledge about. So basically I can pass it on. Something I'm very, very excited about. And also coaching, like next couple podcast episodes, the next couple of days, I'll be talking about that and I'll be getting that out. But I've just started the training of doing this, and what I'm thinking, like, so first I want to talk about a lot here, but a lot of it's like scattered information, as it were, and I hope we can get like value from it, and yeah, value from it moving forward. I'm really excited to do this. I want to do this podcast a lot more frequently and a lot more often, and about like little things. I'm learning so much that I want to teach you, so much that I feel that can be really beneficial and really like help you out. And one of those things is with what I want to do this podcast, I don't want to leave anything out, because I think part of conquering dyslexia is about part of it conquering life. And one thing that like I want to be 100% authentic with this, and one thing I've been struggling with would be about mental health. It's about how. And I've kind of like opened up about it to a lot more people. It's been interesting seeing how it resolves, because like there's this line between calling something a mental health issue and making it outside yourself, and like there's a line that they're like, when you cross that line saying, okay, this is a mental health issue that's outside myself, blah 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 blah, that could be caused with creating a problem. Because you can actually create a problem if you say, oh, I'm depressed. When you're not actually depressed, you can get depressed, if that makes sense. I'm not saying that, I know most of the cases people probably are in a sort of like a certain state, but I'm saying if you can manifest, let's like manifest something. Whereas if you're saying, oh yeah, this is something I can't control it, it's just something else, it's something else, then we're giving responsibility away, and then it's creating something. Now, this only happens, like, I'm just saying that this is me thinking for myself. And it's like, is this really something I can't control? Or is it really something I can control? Or how can I control it? Or where's the limits? Because it's something that I've had like my whole life, I think. And it's something that I do feel like separate, that's separate than everything else. In my life, it's like this extra little thing. But it's really about understanding it. It's really about not saying like it's got this control over me. I'm gonna do some podcasts on that. I'm not saying it's got this control over me. I'm not saying, oh, this is outside thing that I have to like have control of me. It's something else. Anyway, guys, so I want to talk about that. Struggled a bit with my mental health. Ups and downs there, and I'm so excited with a lot of stuff. I just want to say is like, get the stuff out there. And one little thing I really realize is that I want to be an example. Like, you doing this conquering dyslexia. I'm the human person that says, okay, conquering dyslexia. Every time I remember reading a little manual about like this Davis manual, and like one little bit says how to conquer your dyslexia. I was like, that's me. I'm Mr. Conquer Your Dyslexia, and I want to be a role model in that. Like, and the role model have to set the high standard. Set the high standard of always pushing forward, of always not negotiating with yourself, of always setting the bar very, very, very high. I think now in my little dyslexic journey, I spent the last couple of years really a lot of it learning about marketing, learning about getting a message out there, the message I had from my experience. Now, the next year or so is going to be about education. How can I learn as much as possible? Now, not just about learning about dyslexia in the general sense, like getting all the free stuff. I mean, investing a lot, heavily of time and money and all this other stuff. Getting the money is one thing, but into like getting trained about dyslexia, so I can actually be like certified in like different methods out there. So I can just basically teach them to you and compile them all together. And one thing's very, very clear to me, like, I want to, like, the one thing that's sort of how I sort of judge my decisions living in Thailand, it's easy to go out and do things. But I want to invest my time and my energy into things that would have a compound interest. And I know investing time and energy into learning more about dyslexia would 100% have a compound interest. 100% help me teaching it. And I feel that's really helpful for my values, really helpful for where I want to go. And so for today, for this little episode, I don't want to give much advice. I want to say, okay, this is how it relates to you, because I'm thinking about a lot of things, but I think sometimes it's nice to just talk. It's nice to just chat, and all these, like, there's all these problems that have solutions. And my goal of conquering dyslexia, what does it mean to conquer dyslexia? It means you don't let your dyslexia stop you. It means you decide to use your dyslexia instead of having it use you, and just keep moving forward. And like, that's it. And you can find all the strengths, all the gifts, and it's about understanding it. And I'm finding it's very exciting, this journey. Anyway, guys, if you have any questions at all, please message them, please leave me a comment, add me on social media. I'll leave links down below. And in the next few days, guys, there'll be completely free coaching that you can sign up, that I can coach you half an hour once a week. That can help you with all the tools and all the skills I've learned after being obsessed with dyslexia after 7-8 years. Don't know how many years, that can go and help someone like yourself. Anyways, if you're interested in that, let me know. Blah 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 blah. Take care, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you all soon.